You're listening to part 1 of this audiobook. Enjoy the story? Part 2 and the rest of the story are available on Patreon. Go to Patreon and search for my page to continue listening. Now, let's begin part 1. Chapter 1 Dress Like a Dragon. My name is Tang Zheng, and I am a very powerful second-generation ancestor, but I was beaten by someone on a dark and windy night for a month. The moment before I fell into a coma, I suddenly remembered that the courses I took in school, I failed in all of them. The Holy Land Mary Joa, in a luxurious palace. Tang Zheng sat on the luxurious big chuang, looking at all the strange things around him, his expression dazed for a while. Unfamiliar memories flooded into his heart, making him feel as if a lot of things were forcibly stuffed into his head, and it was uncomfortable. He sorted out the information in his mind, got some residual memories, and suddenly found himself in the world of One Piece. What surprised Tang Zhengjia even more was that his current identity was still a heavenly dragon. Fortunately, he has transmigrated into a second-generation ancestor, or he would have been so miserable if he switched to another world with his abilities. Just when he breathed a sigh of relief, a mechanical voice suddenly appeared in his head, and then Tang Zheng's head suddenly felt a sharp pain, and countless information poured into his brain. Found the host, the Prodigal system is being activated. The Prodigal system was successfully activated, the current system level 1. Tang Zheng was also pulled back to his senses by the mechanical voice, and he was stunned for a while. What is this Prodigal system? Host, please don't use gadgets to describe the system, otherwise the system will have the right to punish the host. The mechanical voice continued. I rely on being so smart? Then tell me first, what's the use of you? Tang Zheng said. The system is omnipotent. It is the strongest, most invincible, and most high-end atmosphere. Only you can't think of it, and it can't be done without the system, said a mechanical voice. I think you are the most narcissistic existence. Tang Zheng despised in his heart. Then he said with a look of extreme distrust, is it really that powerful? Then you turn me into a tiger and come out and see. As soon as Tang Zheng finished speaking, he saw a majestic big white tiger appearing in front of him. The appearance of the big white tiger made Tang Zheng startled for no apparent reason, and quickly stepped aside. After seeing that the big white tiger had no malice towards him, his heart was relieved. Really? Chihuahua? Tang Zheng continued. A snow-white chihuahua instantly appeared in front of him. Slot machines, hula hoop, Lu Yifei. Tang Zheng called out several names in one breath. As soon as he finished speaking, the first two items appeared in front of his eyes. Looking at the slot machine in front of him, Tang Zheng frowned and said, where's Lu Yifei? At the request of the host, the big white tiger, chihuahua, slot machine, and hula hoop were exchanged. The current host's points are -499. The minimum limit has been reached. Wait, there are conditions for this? Tang Zheng asked. The host's points are seriously overrun, please fill up the points within 1 day, otherwise the system has the right to directly obliterate the host. The mechanical voice said coldly. I'm the sun, you. I can't do it if I don't want these things? Tang Zheng said. Items that have been successfully exchanged cannot be returned. The system said coldly. Tang Zheng burst into tears. If I knew this earlier, it would be great to ask for a devil fruit with a bull's fork. I think it's better to kill it with one head. Let's see if I can cross again. Just when Tang Zheng was depressed, the metallic sound of the system came again. Explanation, the host will get 1 point for every 10,000 Bailey that he spends. When the points are paid off, the system will open the exchange function for the host. Looking forward to it. You are compelled to consume like this. As a consumer, I have the right to protect myself. Tang Zheng protested. The system will also issue tasks to the host at will. Please open the property panel for the host to view its own properties and tasks released by the system. The system ignored Tang Zheng's protest. As the sound of the system fell, an attribute panel immediately appeared in Tang Zheng's mind, listing a large list of his attributes. Host name, Tang Zheng. Physical skill level, F. Domineering level, none. Degree of fruit development, none. Combat power. After seeing it, Tang Zheng almost spit out a mouthful of old blood. Can this property be any weaker? Just when Tang Zheng was entangled, the system said again, if the host has no other problems, the system will issue the first task. Of course there is a problem. Tang Zheng said. The current task is, pay off the points, 1 day in a limited time. Task reward, none. Failure penalty, obliterate directly. Current splurge amount, 0. A task appeared on the property panel. Tang Zheng now understands that no matter what this broken system does, it will be the overlord's bow. Can you get out of here after I finish all the tasks? Tang Zheng asked angrily. This feeling of being forced made him very unhappy. No. If you want to gain freedom, you still need to complete the 3 ultimate main quests, said the system. The ultimate mission? Just hearing the name, Tang Zheng knew that these tasks must be comparable to learning from the West. One of the ultimate main lines, the need to establish a strongest force. The second main line of the ultimate, get the love of at least 30 beauties. The third main line of the ultimate, need to get the real One Piece. He was still quite unhappy with the system at first, but after hearing the second task, he immediately came to his senses. Compared with the second task, the other 2 tasks were nothing at all. Freedom is optional, beauty must be finished. There are many beauties in the world of One Piece, and he can pick up girls while spending money on a prodigal family. These tasks are simply tailor-made for him. Whoever does not accept it is a fool. Let his previous grievances against the system be swept away in an instant. I've accepted it all. I can't do anything about making money, but if you're a prodigal, as a second-generation ancestor, there's nothing better than this. Tang Zheng laughed. At this moment, the door of the room was gently pushed open, and a slender girl in a maid outfit walked in timidly. After seeing Tang Zheng sitting on the chuang, she immediately knelt down, her voice trembling. Said, His Royal Highness Elva, it's time for you to wake up. Tang Zheng followed the voice and looked at it, his eyes suddenly lit up. What a beautiful little loli! The new book is uploaded, please support it. This book does not abuse the master, it's cool all the way to the end. No supervision, take everything. Enjoying Part 1 so far? This is only the beginning. Part 2 and the rest of the story are available on Patreon. Go to Patreon and search for my page to continue the story. Now, let's continue. Chapter 2 Beast. Tang Zheng looked at little Loli and was about to speak when an old man in black walked in at the same time. He bowed to him and said, Your Highness Elva, this is a newly purchased slave, and the previous one has already executed her according to your instructions. Tang Zheng recognized the old man, and in his memory the old man was his exclusive butler. Come here. Tang Zheng beckoned to the little girl dressed as a maid. Little Loli stood up, but her body trembled slightly. She didn't know much about El Huashan's previous deeds, but she heard the old man's words clearly. Especially after seeing the big white tiger beside Tang Zheng, his face turned blue and white with fright. Tianlong was cruel and moody, and she was afraid that if she walked over, she would become the food in the belly of the big white tiger. But His Highness's words must not be violated, otherwise, it will be even more miserable, so one can only bite the bullet and walk in front of Tang Zheng. What's your name? Tang Zheng looked at her. The little Loli has picturesque eyebrows, a small face like a goose egg, and a small but exquisite body. With that maid outfit, it is not too perfect. Anna. Little Lolita said timidly. Looking at her timid appearance, Tang Zheng felt a little mischief in his heart, and said, You will stay here to take care of me in the future. If you are not satisfied at all, I will have you executed. Little Loli was shocked, and a mist of water suddenly appeared in her eyes. She stood motionless and seemed to be frightened. Tang Zheng smiled, as if he was very satisfied with the effect. It seems that the identity of Tianlong people is really suitable for him. Then Tang Zheng ignored the little Loli who was stunned in place, stood up and walked out the door. The old man in black quickly followed. According to the etiquette of the Tianlong people, wherever Tang Zheng went, slaves and family slaves would kneel and bow 3 times. I met my parents, and only after a series of tedious things did I get breakfast. Just as he was about to complete the system task, the phone bug on Tang Zheng rang. Bala bala bala. Tang Zheng took the call, and a wretched voice came over. El Hua, I bought a few more war beasts, do you dare to compare with me? Tang Zheng didn't have to think about it to know that the owner of the voice was Charles Ross. There were many places for entertainment for the Tianlong people in the Holy Land Mary Joa, and there was also the Colosseum. Many Tianlong people will spend a lot of money to buy some beasts, and then go to the Colosseum to fight for fun. Tang Zheng knew from his memory that this was also a way to lose the family, because the bets of the Tianlong people in the beast fight were often very large. Considering that he still owes the system 499 points, which is equivalent to squandering 5 million baileys, Tang Zheng agreed. Then Tang Zheng called the old man in black and asked, Old man Bud, what is the upper limit of bailey I can use in a day? The old butler Bud bowed and said, His Royal Highness, there is no upper limit in theory. However, it is recommended not to be too much, otherwise it will be difficult to explain in front of Lord Azrael. Azelal was his father. Tang Zheng ignored old Bud's suggestion. If something went wrong, it was a matter between their father and son. Let's go, go with me. Tang Zheng waved his hand, full of style. His Royal Highness, do you want to bring the war beast you kept in captivity? Old Bard asked respectfully. What to bring? Just bring the big white tiger in my room. Tang Zheng said. He is going to lose money. He really wants to bring a powerful beast. What if he accidentally wins? The 2 heavenly dragon guards soon brought out the big white tiger that was exchanged from the system. It was originally aggressive, but after seeing Tang Zheng, it suddenly became docile. I don't know if it was an illusion or because of the system, Tang Zheng always felt that there seemed to be an inexplicable connection between himself and the great white tiger. This kind of feeling made Tang Zheng ride on its back, but it didn't suffer any resistance, instead it looked like it was enjoying. Riding on the majestic white tiger, Tang Zheng led a group of guards to the Colosseum. On the way, all the slaves who passed by fell to their knees in horror. Soon Tang Zheng saw Charles Ross in front of the animal farm from a distance, and before he got close, he heard him shout, Elva, where is your war beast? Tang Zheng rode the big white tiger to him and said, Isn't this what it is? Are you looking down on me? Just you little tiger, how can you fight with my giant beast? Charles Ross looked at Tang Zheng with dull eyes, and sucked the snot hanging from his mouth. Tang Zheng endured his nausea and glanced at the several giant beasts behind him, each of which was over 3 meters high, exuding a ferocious arrogance. You'll know if you play around. Tang Zheng said indifferently, then took the lead in approaching the Colosseum and sat in the special seat of the Tianlong people. The venue was also lively. Some nobles were already gambling, but they all stopped after seeing Tang Zheng and Charles Ross coming. They all know that the real protagonist in Mary Joa is the Draco talent. After Charles Ross was seated, he looked at Tang Zheng and said, Elva, don't say I bullied you, I think you should go home and bring your war beast over. Stop talking nonsense, let's start, I bet 5 million bailey. Tang Zheng said. I owe the system 500 points, and I always have no bottom in my heart, so as soon as I come up, I directly place a bet of 5 million to solve the problem at one time. Then Tang Zheng touched Beihu's head and said in a low voice, It's up to you, you will always have to pay it back when you come out. Beihu seemed to understand Tang Zheng's words, his eyes flashed fiercely, and he rushed down into the beast fighting circle with murderous aura. Seeing that Tang Zheng insisted on doing this, Charles Ross ignored him. A giant ape that was more than 3 meters tall walked out from his side. Wherever he passed, the ground shook. At this time, the host in the Colosseum also picked up the microphone and shouted, "I didn't expect to see such a wonderful showdown so early. The following game is the White Tiger under Elva's Templar, against Char, the Great Ape of the Holy Wrath." Third Chapter, Ferocious White Tiger. Third Chapter, Ferocious White Tiger. The Great Ape of His Royal Highness Charles Rose is said to have been a member of a pirate group. His Highness Charles Rose spent 30 million Bailey to buy it back. With the host's explanation, the Colosseum became even more fiery, and all of them looked forward to the giant ape slowly walking towards the beast fighting circle. And the White Tiger under the Elwa, ahem. The host found it impossible to introduce the source of the White Tiger. Can only reluctantly say, the origin of the White Tiger under the Elva Temple is mysterious. Could this be the secret weapon of the Elva Temple? As the giant ape entered the beast ring, the host shouted, "Now I announce that the duel begins." The giant ape let out a loud roar, and his 2 bucket-like arms slapped Xiang a few times, and then quickly rushed towards the White Tiger. The White Tiger quietly waited for the arrival of the giant ape, looking ready to go. After the giant ape approached, it suddenly jumped up, and the giant palm threw directly at the giant ape's head. And the originally aggressive giant ape, under the slap of the White Tiger, was directly shot several meters away, and fell to the ground without a sound. Tang Zheng, who was sitting on the stage and drinking tea, directly sprayed the tea in his mouth after seeing the result. "This Nima pits me." Not only Tang Zheng, but even everyone in the Colosseum looked at the White Tiger in disbelief. Although the White Tiger in the beast fighting circle is a little bigger than the ordinary tiger, no matter how you look at it, it is not like the opponent of the giant ape. But the fact is that the giant ape is defeated, but it is still a move. At this time, the host in the Colosseum seemed to be stunned for a moment, but he had presided over many duels, and he had never seen any results, so he quickly recovered and shouted, "The victor is from the Holy Temple of Elva. White Tiger fighting beast. This White Tiger with a mysterious origin has defeated the Great Ape of His Holiness Charles Rose. Can His Highness Charles Rose regain the defeat?" Seemingly sensing Tang Zheng's gaze, the White Tiger standing in the beast fighting circle wagged his tail at Tang Zheng in a pleasing manner. But this kind of behavior, in Tang Zheng's eyes, is about to be blown up by it. The black-clothed entourage who followed Charles Ross also made a wager with Old Bud. At this moment, a message popped up in Tang Zheng's mind, "Warning. The current host score is -999, please fill it up as soon as possible." "What's going on? Why did you suddenly increase your points by 500? Tang Zheng asked. "Until the points are paid off, the host cannot have any income." The system replied coldly. "Why didn't you say it earlier?" Tang Zheng was about to go crazy, this was about his life. Immediately Tang Zheng grabbed the cup and smashed it at the White Tiger in the beast fighting circle, shouting loudly, "I'll let you lose, you know that." Seemingly feeling Tang Zheng's emotions, the White Tiger became even more fierce. Tang Zheng's words were heard in Charles Rose's ears, but Qiluo was naked and provocative. In anger, he desperately kicked the slave who was kneeling in front of him a few times with his feet. "Trash, trash." Tang Zheng looked at Charles Ross helplessly and said, "Char Ross, let your strongest beast take action, don't worry, you will win this time. I bet 20 million Baileys." Tang Zheng offered a higher price, not only to settle the owed points at one time, but also to earn more points to return. Charles Ross pointed to a giant bear and said, "Let it go." The guard standing beside him nodded immediately, and then took the giant bear to the beast fighting circle and untied the beast's shackles. The Colosseum suddenly became popular, and the host immediately shouted, "Appeared, the strongest fighting beast under the Holy Temple of Charles Rose. This giant bear has maintained an excellent record of 6 consecutive victories in the hands of Charles Rose. This mysterious white tiger, will it be the opponent of the giant bear? Let's wait and see. Now the duel begins. The host's voice became a little hoarse, which made Tang Zheng look at him more. Now he also knows that the residents of the Holy Land Mary Joa are not only Tianlong people, but a larger part of them are officials of the world government and their families. But the Tianlong people must be like emperors. As soon as the host's voice fell, Tang Zheng's white tiger immediately moved. Before the giant bear of Charles Ross could react, he appeared behind it, and then slapped it again. The Colosseum, which was still very boiling, immediately quieted down, and the only sound was the giant bear lying in the beast ring, crying non-stop. Then the quiet Colosseum burst into cheers, and the supporters shouted without hesitation this time, "Second kill! His Highness Elva's white tiger has won again, ending the giant bear's winning streak. Oh my god, the white tiger under Elva's temple is too strong, is there no war beast that can defeat it?" Old Bud once again took over the bet from Charles Rose's entourage, with a happy smile on his face. I secretly thought in my heart that Lord Azura would be very happy if he knew about it. Tang Zheng's face turned blue for a while, and the system's prompt sounded again in his mind, warning. The current host's score is -2999, please fill it up within 1 day, or you will suffer severe punishment. Not only did the points not make up, on the contrary, they deducted more and more, which made Tang Zheng hate this white tiger so much. Charles, do you have more powerful war beasts? Would you like to let them go together? Tang Zheng suggested. This dead tiger will never forgive him lightly when he goes back. Tang Zheng also had good intentions. He was very eager to lose the game, but he never thought that this tiger would be so powerful. Could it be because of the system's exchange? This thought flashed through Tang Zheng's mind. Elva, you are really deceiving people. Do you really think your tiger is invincible? I'll do what you want, this time I'll bet 100 million Baileys. A trace of anger appeared on Charles Rose's dull face. This. Tang Zheng hesitated, not because he was afraid of losing, but because he was afraid of winning. If you win again this time, you will owe the system 12,999 points. Why don't you gamble, Charles Ross? I'm afraid you'll lose too much and it's hard to explain it back. Tang Zheng suggested. What does a mere 100 million Bailey mean to me? Your Ettrick family can't even afford 100 million Bailey, right? Charles Ross sniffed. Chapter 4 I understand. After hearing Charles Rose's words, Tang Zheng felt unhappy for a while. What about this snotty man provoking me? But as a second-generation ancestor, when has Tang Zheng ever been afraid? More than 10,000 points soon? It's not that I still can't stand it. If the white tiger can really defeat the siege of several giant beasts, then it proves that his guess is right. The things exchanged by the system are extremely powerful. For Tang Zheng, this team is definitely a great thing. Betting. Tang Zheng said indifferently. The bet between the two was quickly reported to the host, and the host immediately shouted, a more exciting moment has come, the next duel is the white tiger of His Holiness Elva, against Charles Rose. All the beasts of war under the temple. Will the mysterious white tiger be defeated in this battle? Can it create a miracle? Let's wait and see, the duel begins now. With the rendering of the host, the atmosphere of the entire Colosseum was ignited. This is an extremely rare and exciting duel. The white tiger in the beast fighting circle looked at the 4 giant beasts that surrounded it, and there seemed to be a hint of sarcasm in his eyes. The 4 giant beasts immediately seemed to be provoked, roaring and running towards the white tiger from 4 directions. When the white tiger was about to be torn to shreds, it moved. There was a deafening roar, and the entire Colosseum seemed to vibrate. The actions of the 4 giant beasts surrounding it also stagnated, and because of this momentary pause, they were all attacked by the white tiger to varying degrees. Then 4 huge bodies were shot in 4 different directions. The white tiger standing in the beast fighting circle showed the strength of the king at this moment. Originally thought it was a protracted war, no one thought that the 4 giant beasts would be defeated so quickly and completely. The audience was silent, but then came the more violent cheers. Win! The white tiger under the Holy Spirit Elva created a miracle, it defeated 4 powerful opponents. Oh my god, will there be a giant beast as its opponent in the future? Where did this mysterious white tiger come from? The host held the microphone and shouted exhaustively. Tang Zheng quietly looked at the white tiger in the beast fighting circle. 1 or 2 victories can be said to be a coincidence, but now it is the 3rd time. If he can't see the problem, he is definitely a fool. System, what is going on with this white tiger? How can it be so strong? Tang Zheng asked the system in his heart. This system thought you would never ask me, host. The system said coldly. Tang Zheng. Silver Tiger is a combat-type creature that the host has overdrafted 400 points to exchange. Naturally, its combat power exceeds that of ordinary animals. You can see for yourself. The system said. Then a series of messages appeared in front of Tang Zheng's eyes in an instant. Name, Silver Tiger. Combat Strength. Name, Giant Ape. Combat Power. The black star represents 1 star, and the white star is half a star. The silver tiger is a 3-star combat type creature, and is naturally much stronger than a 1.5 star behemoth. The system continued to explain. Samsung's combat power, this white tiger is so powerful? Then what kind of combat creatures are you talking about? Tang Zheng asked. Fill up the ode points, and the host will have the right to know, and the system will also develop the exchange authority for the host. The host now owes a total of 12,999 points, please fill it up as soon as possible, otherwise it will be completely obliterated, the system said coldly. Tang Zheng also saw Old Bud, and at this time he was happy to accept the bet paid by Charles Ross's entourage. Damn it, don't gamble, how can you do it like this? Tang Zheng also saw the number of points displayed by the system in his mind, minus 12,999. He is here to lose the family, not to make money. Tang Zheng didn't say a word, turned around and left, and said to Old Bud, going to another place, this Roswald holy family is really disappointing. Charles Rose also heard Tang Zheng's words and immediately shouted, Elva, I lost to you, but you can't humiliate my family. Then how are you doing? I said you can't stand up to your expectations. What kind of monster you are looking for, you can't even beat a tiger. It's a shame. Tang Zheng pouted. You. Charles Ross was so angry at Tang Zheng's words that his face turned blue and white, and his nose was hanging on his mouth. Tang Zheng endured the disgusting feeling in his heart, and took the white tiger back to his side, rode on it, turned around and left. Elwa, I want to buy your tiger. Charles Ross exclaimed suddenly. If you don't sell it, you can buy it wherever you like. Tang Zheng said with a wave of his hand. Are you kidding? This score is not enough, but it is fatal. For Tang Zheng, Charles Rose's words simply added fuel to the fire. I'll give you 500 million Baileys. Charles Ross said unwillingly. Silly cha. Tang Zheng touched Beihu's head, and Beihu grinned at Charles Ross, revealing a bloody mouth, which directly scared him back several steps. Tang Zheng ignored the earth-colored Charles Ross behind him, riding a white tiger and leaving majestically under the eyes of everyone in the Colosseum. Seeing Tang Zheng walking away, Charles Ross snorted and shouted, Don't you like my sister, Elva? I'll help you get her. Younger sister? Tang Zheng stopped. In his impression, Charles Ross seemed to have a sister named Xiaolulia, who was not bad. The tiger thing will be discussed later. Tang Zheng dropped a sentence. In the future. Charles Ross looked sluggish, then took a snort and shouted at Tang Zheng's back, I understand. Elva, I'm going to settle for this white tiger. Tang Zheng didn't know what Charles Ross was thinking, but was thinking about how to earn more than 10,000 points. At first, I wanted to lose everything, but I didn't expect to be interrupted by this tiger. It's only 10 hours away from the day. If the task could not be completed, Tang Zheng could not imagine the result. Tang Zheng suddenly remembered that there seemed to be a place called the slave market in his memory, and it was said that the master behind the scenes was not an ordinary person. Looking at a place with such a deep background, it must be a good place for a prodigal family. Let's go. Tang Zheng patted Yinhu's butt and said, let's go to the slave market. Chapter 5 Domineering. Chapter 5 Domineering. After leaving the Colosseum, Tang Zheng rode a silver tiger with Old Bud and others, and planned to go to the slave market. By the way, where is the slave market? Tang Zheng looked at Old Bud. At this time, Tang Zheng's memory was still relatively chaotic, and he couldn't remember which direction the slave market was. However, this was not something Tang Zheng was worried about. As a Tianlong person with supreme status and power, who would go out without taking a bunch of slaves with him? I don't remember it, but Old Bud knows it. When he saw that the current amount of points owed in the system was minus 10,000, Tang Zheng felt a little scolded. Not only did he not waste money on this trip to the Colosseum, but he also made a lot of money. It seems that he didn't find the right way to lose his family. His Royal Highness, the slave trading place is here. Old Bud quickly ran to the front to lead the way. The other slaves followed Old Bud one by one and walked towards the slave trading place. Holy Land Mary Joa, anyone who can live in this place will not be too bad. Except for the slaves, of course. The streets were full of people coming and going, and there were many shops. Most of the things that Tang Zheng had in the world that he used to live in were also found here. After a while, Tang Zheng followed Old Bud to the slave trading place, and immediately a short, wretched man greeted him. After kneeling for a while, he said to Tang Zheng in an infinitely pleasing manner, Your Highness, Elva, you are here just in time. A batch of new goods has just arrived here, so you will definitely be satisfied. In Tang Zheng's memory, Elva would occasionally come here to buy slaves, and every time it was this thin man who came to receive him. It seemed that he was the person in charge here. Well, take me to see. Tang Zheng just nodded symbolically. Then the skinny man walked in front to lead the way, while introducing the slaves who were imprisoned in iron cages on both sides. His Royal Highness Elva, look at these people, we have spent a lot of effort to catch them, said the thin man. Tang Zheng followed his gaze, and then a column of information appeared in his mind. Character, Kino. Combat Strength. Character, Adrian. Combat Strength. Character, Angelina. Combat Power. Tang Zheng's eyes showed the strength of the slaves one by one. It's just that these slaves are too weak, making Tang Zheng look down on them at all. Perhaps having a female slave was a bright spot, but those 3 or 5 thick figures instantly made Tang Zheng lose interest. It's true that he wants to come out and squander, but he can't just buy a few slaves and it's over, it's too cheap. At this time, Tang Zheng's eyes just swept to a middle-aged strong man with shoulder-length hair and a full beard. At the same time, the strong man's attribute panel also appeared in the system. Character, Gerald. Combat Strength. Samsung Combat Power. He is actually on the same level as Silver Tiger. Tang Zheng smiled slightly, and then rode the white tiger towards the man with the stubble face. How to sell this? Tang Zheng asked. Your Majesty Elva, you are so discerning. This is a new arrival. This person is a pirate captain named Gerald. The bounty is 15 million Baileys, but... The skinny man who has been following behind Tang Zheng said hesitantly. What? Tang Zheng's eyes turned cold. The skinny man smiled and said, Go back to His Highness Elva, this pirate has been reserved by the Grawl family, you see. After Tang Zheng heard his words, his heart moved, and he said, What is the Grawl family, and how much can they afford? They are willing to pay 30 million Bailey to buy it. Of course, the Grawl family can't compare with your highness, but it is not something we can forgive. I hope your highness can understand us. The thin man kept smiling. According to the memory in my head, there are very few pirates who can offer tens of millions of bounties in the slave exchange, and the slaves here are generally ordinary people. Because the strength is a little higher, or it is a slave with special characteristics, it usually only appears at the auction. After all, only in the auction can the value of these slaves be better reflected. I'll pay 100 million Bailey, and I want this person. Tang Zheng pointed at Gerald and said. Hearing this, the skinny man immediately knelt down in front of Tang Zheng, showing a smile that was uglier than crying, and said, His Royal Highness, we can't have this 100 million bells. Money is a good thing, who doesn't like it? It's not that the skinny man doesn't want the money, it's that he doesn't dare. It is not so easy to get the money of the dragon people. If one gets it wrong, there may be a chance to get money and spend it without life. Second, if he sold the slave to Tang Zheng, it would be difficult for him to explain to the Grawl family. 200 million Baileys. Tang Zheng said indifferently. The skinny man was so frightened that he fell on the ground and kept kowtowing towards Tang Zheng. You can sell the Grawl family to him for only 30 million yuan. Do you think I can't afford it? Or do you think that the Atriac family is inferior to the family of other government officials? Tang Zheng's face also turned cold. Anyone who dares to stop him, no matter who he is a heinous crime. The guards behind Tang Zheng had already taken a few steps forward. As long as Tang Zheng said a word, the skinny man could be executed immediately. The skinny man had turned pale with fright, and kept kowtowing to Tang Zheng with a terrified look on his face. With trembling in his mouth, he said, His Royal Highness, if you like this slave, I will give it to you for free. You can take it away, or if your highness has a fancy for any slave, you can also take it with you. The skinny man usually dealt with Elva less often. He didn't know where he was provoking the little ancestor, or the little ancestor was in a bad mood today, so he took this to vent his mood. No matter what, today this thin man would not dare to accept it anyway, even if it would offend the Grawl family, he could not offend the Tianlong people anyway. If he offends the Droll family, he can never come to the Holy Land Mary Joa again, but if he offends this little ancestor, there will be no place for him in the whole world. Chapter 6 Open Exchange Permission. 200 million Bailey will not be missing you. After saying that, Tang Zheng took 2 large coins from his entourage, Old Bud, and threw them directly at his feet. Afterwards, the 2 coins slowly floated to the face of the thin man. When Tang Zheng was a second-generation ancestor, he didn't do anything less, and his movements were extremely skilled. At the same time, the sound of the system sounded in Tang Zheng's mind. The host has filled up the points owed, the current point value is 7001, and the redemption function has been activated for the dormitory. Tang Zheng listened to a series of voices from the system in his mind. The one in the mood at this time was called refreshing. If he had this feeling, it would be different if his life was in his hands again. Your Majesty Elva, wait. I can't take the 200 million Baileys, can't take it. Looking at Tang Zheng's gradually darkened face, the thin man's voice became smaller and smaller. Today, if you don't want it, you have to ask for it. Even if that family comes, I have to take this person away. Tang Zheng dropped a sentence. Then he rode his little white tiger and left arrogantly. After this incident, Tang Zheng had a vague feeling that it was not an easy thing to want to lose the family in the Holy Land Mary Joa. The reason is that people here don't seem to dare to charge the currency of Tianlong people. It can be seen that Tianlong people really hate and fear in the eyes of others. In order to confirm this idea, Tang Zheng deliberately wandered around the surrounding area for a long time, and if he saw anything, he would be given a gift. Almost every time Tang Zheng had to forcefully buy and sell, he was able to spend Bailey. Seeing such a situation, Tang Zheng, who was riding on the silver tiger, frowned. Although he did not reject the feeling of strong buying and selling, it was not a long-term thing after all. Along the way, Tang Zheng also did not say a word, which made the people accompanying him tremble with fear, for fear that someone would accidentally provoke this little ancestor. Everyone held this feeling, and it was not until they returned to the palace that their hearts were relieved, because they all received the reward from the holy palace of Elva. Old Bud, the accompanying guards will each reward 1,000,000 baileys. Tang Zheng said lightly, and then rode the silver tiger straight to the bedroom. Tang Zheng's words made the accompanying guards ecstatic, wishing they could follow Tang Zheng again. After returning to the bedroom, Tang Zheng glanced at random and found that the maid little Loli was not there, and immediately communicated with the system. Exchange function, what can be exchanged? Tang Zheng asked impatiently. The system didn't speak, but instead listed a bunch of options. Biological exchange, cold weapon exchange, hot weapon exchange, combat ability exchange, devil fruit exchange, miscellaneous exchange. Tang Zheng was dazzled by a lot of exchange options. Then Tang Zheng's eyes were fixed on the biological options listed at the top. The power of the silver tiger has always made him very curious. Is the silver tiger redeemed from this creature option? Tang Zheng asked. The system voice changed back to a mechanical voice, and said, yes, the creature options are divided into combat type and auxiliary type, and the silver tiger is the combat type creature. Then my other chihuahua is an auxiliary creature. Tang Zheng asked. That's right, this chihuahua has an extremely powerful sense of smell. As long as it is locked to the smell, it can be accurately searched within 10 miles. The system explained. With the words of the system, the picture in Tang Zheng's mind also changed, and he directly entered the options of fighting creatures. Tang Zheng saw a bunch of creature exchange options at a glance. Name, Snow Eagle. Combat power. Credits required, 350. And the exchange option of Silver Tiger is behind Shui Ying. Name, Silver Tiger. Combat strength. Points required, 400. I'm a son. It turned out that the culprit who owed 499 points was this guy, but it was only 400 points, and it was just squandering 4,000,000 baileys, which was not expensive at all. Tang Zheng glanced at his current point amount, 10,032. Simply a rich man. When I was about to exchange a creature with high combat power, I found that almost all of the creatures that could be exchanged were Samsung. What's going on? That's all? Tang Zheng frowned. The system immediately replied abruptly, the current system level is level 1. The host needs to complete more tasks and spend more money to upgrade the system and enter the next level of authority. That means, I need to wait for your system to upgrade before I can exchange for more powerful creatures? Damn it, I also plan to set up an army of 10,000 beasts to challenge Kaido. Tang Zheng felt unhappy for a while. Organisms are just an aid, even combat-type creatures. It's true that their own strength is strong. This system gives you a piece of advice: don't rely too much on creatures. Creatures with 3-star combat power are far from being the opponents of 3-star combat humans. The system suddenly said. It's the same 3-star combat power, so the difference is so big. Tang Zheng asked in confusion. The biological combat method is too ordinary. But the cultivation ability of humans is different. The 3-star combat power is an evaluation. The strength of the body is determined by the level of physical skills, fruit ability, and domineering cultivation. The system continued to explain. It's really complicated. Tang Zheng pouted, looking at the 10,000 points. He thought he could exchange for a group of powerful beasts, sweeping the world, but it turned out to be just a group of weak chickens. No wonder it is so cheap. Cheap is not good. Tang Zheng immediately lost interest in the exchange of biological creatures and withdrew from this option. Turn your attention to other options. Cold weapon? Not interested for now. If Dang Dang can reach the level of Eagle Eye one day, maybe he will get his weapons out and put on forks. He couldn't use hot weapons either. Tang Zheng could already carry a gunpowder gun with him. Although it wasn't particularly powerful, it was enough to deal with ordinary people. If it is against a master, he will not be able to hit. What is the combat capability? After Tang Zheng opened this option, he was suddenly shocked. Oh my mother, I thought I had tens of thousands of points, and I already felt that I was a local tyrant. I didn't expect this to be the real gold-selling cave. Ask for collection. Ask for flowers. All kinds of requests. Your support is the driving force of the fruit. Chapter 7 Exchangeability. As soon as he entered the combat ability option, Tang Zheng was stunned by what was inside. Armed Domineering, 8,000 points required. Domineering, need 8,000 points. Domineering, need 8,000 points. 6 types, finger gun, lanyard, shaving, paper painting, moon step, iron block, each requires 5,000 points. A series of martial arts, such as Fuhyuquan, Lion's Roar, and Vigorous King Kong Palm, require 2,000 points. There are still ancient martial arts moves, but I don't know how powerful they are. It's just that Tang Zheng couldn't help but take a deep breath when he saw the points needed for domineering. According to the above consumption, he could only exchange for one kind of domineering, or 2 of the 6 styles. Although he is a second-generation ancestor, he also clearly knows that only when his own strength is strong is the last word. No matter how high the status is, no matter how strong the younger brother is, it is only an external force after all. In the world of One Piece, there are not a few people who dare to take action against Tianlong people. Tang Zheng doesn't want to know how he died one day. Looks like I'm still going to lose a lot, Tang Zheng muttered to himself, forgetting the huge amount of points. As a second-generation ancestor, Tang Zheng could have many ways to lose his family. But the only problem is that it is not easy to lose money in the Holy Land Mary Joa. Because people here don't dare to take the money of the Tianlong people. Looks like a different way. Tang Zheng stared at the exchange attribute in the combat ability, and his mind kept rolling. After a long time, Tang Zheng focused his attention on the domineering arrogance of the armed color and the strong Vajra palm, the reason being that the combination of the strong arrogance with the Vajra palm and the domineering force of the armed color would definitely strengthen. With his current strength, it doesn't matter whether it is to exchange knowledge, or to use the 6 forms. Because this fighting ability is too closely linked to its own strength. I want to exchange for the armed color domineering and vigorous King Kong Palm. Tang Zheng said to the system. The redemption is successful, the host points are reduced by 10,000, and the current point value remains 32. Vigorous Vajra Palm is one of the hard skills. Armamentous Domineering is also similar to this ability. When combined, there will definitely be unexpected effects. Succeeded in the training of Armamentous Domineering and Vigorous Vajra Palm. The current attributes of the host are: Host name, Tang Zheng. Physical skill level, E+. Domineering level, armed color, E. Degree of fruit development, none. Combat power. Following the system's words, a list suddenly appeared in Tang Zheng's mind. Why are you still so weak? Only one armed color has been upgraded from F to E? Tang Zheng was suddenly dissatisfied. The armed color is exchanged, it is only a primary form, and the host needs to spend points to upgrade to become more powerful. The system said coldly. Later, Tang Zheng also noticed some changes in the options for exchanging armed color domineering. Armament color domineering upgrade, current level E, upgrade to the next level, need points, 20,000. I can't let me go to full level directly if I slot you into the second grade? Do you think it's easy to lose a family? Tang Zheng said angrily. Do you know how far the weapon can be upgraded in the system? The system said lightly. No matter how strong you are, there is a limit. Tang Zheng rolled his eyes. It's not like we haven't seen one piece, it's not unreasonable to be able to cultivate domineering to the level of a general. Strictly speaking, there is no limit, or at least it will be dozens of times stronger than you know. No one in this world can develop domineering to the most complete state. The system said. Okay, you're in charge of your territory, so I don't need to upgrade this Vajrapam step by step, right? Tang Zheng asked. You don't need ancient martial arts, as long as you exchange them, you will be in the peak state. Now the level of this system is only level 1. You don't have the right to acquire more advanced martial arts. Come on, boy. The system is still a secondary school appearance. After withdrawing from the system space, Tang Zheng couldn't wait to try it, how powerful he is now. Then Tang Zheng walked out of the bedroom immediately, saw Old Bud instructing the servants to work, and immediately walked over and asked, Old Bud, where is the slave I just bought? Old Bud bowed respectfully and said, Go back to His Majesty Elva, because you didn't convey your order when you came back. The old slave locked him up. Do you want to see him? Tang Zheng nodded and said, Go and bring him here. Old Bud respectfully withdrew, but soon brought Gerald in front of Tang Zheng. When Gerald saw Tang Zheng, he immediately knelt down. Most of the slaves betrayed in the slave market have been trained/instructed, so the buyer can save a lot of trouble. Stand up. Tang Zheng looked at Gerald and said. Gerald, who was kneeling on the ground, immediately stood up and looked at Tang Zheng with a hint of fear in his eyes. He knows the horror of the Tianlong people, and he also knows that after coming here, he will never have the chance to leave. The only thing that can be expected is that the owner in front of him can torture him less. Unlock his slave shackles. Tang Zheng said to Old Bud. His Royal Highness, for your safety. Old Bud looked embarrassed. As long as you're in the Holy Land Mary Joa, you don't need to worry at all. Besides, aren't there guards? Tang Zheng said lightly. Seeing that Tang Zheng insisted on doing this, Old Bud had to let someone remove the slave ring around Gerald's neck. After the slave ring around his neck disappeared, Gerald was instantly delighted, and looked at Tang Zheng with a hint of gratitude. But then Tang Zheng's words made him fall into an ice cave. Don't be too happy, I'm not trying to give you freedom. You still hope that you can survive in the next few minutes. Tang Zheng said. Then, before Gerald could react, Tang Zheng suddenly shot. Armed and domineering. Tang Zheng's palm immediately covered a layer of dark material on Chan Rao, which made Tang Zheng feel like he was breaking through thousands of troops. Vajra palm. As Tang Zheng's palm approached, a trace of horror appeared in Gerald's eyes, and he immediately used the most powerful life-saving skills. Chapter 8 Made Outfit Little Lowly. Chapter 8 Made Outfit Little Lowly. As Tang Zheng's palm approached, a trace of horror appeared in Gerald's eyes, and then he immediately used the most powerful life-saving skills. With his strength, he is not qualified to practice domineering. But even if there is no domineering, as a pirate with 3-star combat power, he will naturally have his own way of fighting. Gerald's life-saving ability is to confront hard. He had always been confident in his physical skills, and when he saw Tang Zheng's fist appear in front of him, his clenched fist immediately greeted him. Bang! The attacks of the two collided immediately, and a cloud of smoke rose up in the field because of the collision force. It made Old Bud and others nervous for a while, and the guards around him immediately moved closer to Tang Zheng, intending to protect their master as soon as possible. After waiting for the smoke to dissipate, the scene of the two fighting suddenly surprised Old Bud and others. I saw Tang Zheng standing there quietly, his whole body unscathed, his eyes fixed on Gerald who was lying on the ground. On the other hand, Gerald couldn't be too miserable at this time. The right hand that collided with Tang Zheng's vigorously diamond palm was completely deformed. It looked as if it was broken, there was a trace of blood on the corner of the mouth, and there were spots on the ground nearby, obviously suffering from great trauma. Cough cough. Gerald stood up from the ground with difficulty. It was the first time he had met a heavenly dragon with such strength, and his gaze towards Tang Zheng was even more terrifying. Then, when he saw that Tang Zheng wanted to attack again, his heart was splitting, and he hurriedly knelt down and said, "Please forgive me, Master." "Tang Zheng. It's really not beaten," Tang Zheng said lightly. Sure enough, it was exactly as he had guessed. Armed and domineering plus hard power, there was an extra bonus. Moreover, he is domineering, and he is able to challenge the powerhouse without domineering. In the world of One Piece, there are many people who can be domineering, but there are more people who are not domineering, like Crucian Carp crossing the river. When there is no certain level of strength, Tang Zheng will not go to the New World to show off his might. As the second-generation ancestor of a Tianlong person, the Prodigal family is the most important thing. After glancing at Gerald, Tang Zheng waved his hand, and Old Bud immediately asked the guards to take him down. It wasn't until after Gerald left that Tang Zheng made an estimate. With the combined strength of his armed arrogance and the powerful King Kong palm, he should be able to exert a 3.5-star combat effectiveness. Being able to inflict heavy damage on Gerald with one move was a surprise, but it also indirectly proved that Tang Zheng's choice was correct. Seeing that everyone around him had left, Tang Zheng immediately entered the system space. He was so eager to test his own strength that he didn't check the most important devil fruit exchange. After entering the system space, Tang Zheng glanced at the other options, and immediately opened the devil fruit redemption item. With his current strength, if a powerful devil fruit is attached to the package, the increase in strength is absolutely exaggerated. It was just that Tang Zheng was speechless for a while after seeing the points needed by the devil fruit. Sonic fruit requires 50,000 points. Hot fruit requires 50,000 points. Imitation fruit, 50,000 points required. Paper fruit requires 50,000 points. Tang Zheng checked every fruit, and found that even the fruit that has not appeared in the One Piece world, there are all there, and the system is indeed powerful. But what makes Tang Zheng unhappy is that the fruits that can be exchanged now are not only limited in strength, but also very expensive. For example, the sound wave fruit. Is it possible that when they fight in the future, they keep opening their mouths, humming haha? That's fine, and most importantly, it can't fire continuously. How can this be tolerated? And the hot fruit is even more unscrupulous, and hugs everyone when you see it. Chill just thinking about it. Do you want to be such a fool? Tang Zheng complained. This system is only level 1. Tang Zheng interrupted the system as soon as it started. I know, your middle school system is only level 1. If you want to exchange for more powerful fruits, you need to upgrade you, right? Then you can't fucking say that the distance will raise you to level 2, how much do you need to squander? Tang Zheng said angrily. 800 million Bailey, strictly speaking, 799.68 million. The system said lightly. Okay, 800 million, right, just wait for me. Tang Zheng said through gritted teeth. Don't be annoyed, these are all rules. Do you know the benefits to you after the system is upgraded? Said the system. What's the benefit? Tang Zheng asked. It's nothing, after all, this system is omnipotent. It's not just to let you break through the upper limit of your physique. For example, you can eat a little more devil fruit. The system is still the appearance of the second middle school. Fuck, you said it earlier. I'm going to lose the family now. Tang Zheng shouted, and immediately withdrew from the system space. The powerful devil fruit cannot be exchanged in the system for the time being, but he is a heavenly dragon, and there are ways. Tang Zheng turned around and was about to find his father. After walking a few steps, he met a little girl dressed as a maid in the corridor. In her arms, she was holding a chihuahua that was exchanged with Silver Tiger. After seeing Tang Zheng, the maid pretending to be a little lowly immediately knelt to the side and said, I have seen His Majesty Elva. Tang Zheng glanced at the chihuahua in her arms and asked, "Where are you holding it?" "Rolling all over the place for collection." "Ask for flowers." Chapter 9 Scared to Pee. Little Loli's body trembled slightly, but she still cried, "Go back to your highness, after you left, it ran out. I was afraid that you would be angry and it took a long time to get it back." Tang Zheng's heart moved, and he suddenly remembered that the system had said that this chihuahua is very sensitive to smells and can accurately find anything within 10 miles. Could it be that it was looking for something? "Where did you find it?" Tang Zheng asked. Little Loli replied weakly, "Outside the Fiori Holy Family. When I found it, it was still shaking." After hearing Xiao Loli's words, Tang Zheng's eyes suddenly froze. Tang Zheng's eyes narrowed. The Fiori family is also one of the Tianlong family. In memory, they have always been at odds with their erect Holy Family. Could it be that there is something in the Fiori family that frightened them? "Do you like it?" Tang Zheng asked suddenly. "I like it." Little Loli blinked her beautiful big eyes. "I'll let you take care of it in the future. You have to follow it wherever it goes. Remember not to lose it." Tang Zheng walked over and touched the little Loli's head. "Thank you, His Royal Highness." Little Loli raised her head and looked at Tang Zheng. At this moment, she realized that His Highness was not so scary. Tang Zheng nodded, turned, and left. The problem of the Fiori family raised a little bit of vigilance in his heart, especially when the two families were at odds. However, Tang Zheng didn't worry too much, because there was still an old man on it, and there was no point in thinking too much. Tang Zheng walked, and soon came to his father's palace, where he was greeted by his father's exclusive black-clothed butler, who was also the head of the Ettrick family, old Eugene. "Have you seen His Majesty Elva? Are you looking for Lord Azroth?" Old Eugene asked Tang Zheng with a bow. Tang Zheng also held a trace of respect for the servant who had served the Ettrick family for decades, and immediately said, "Mr. Eugene, I would like to see my father. Please let me know." After hearing Tang Zheng's words, old Eugene's face almost burst into a smile, with a hint of admiration in his eyes. "Your Highness, please wait a moment, Lord Azrael is just entertaining a guest, I'll go first." Announcement. Tang Zheng nodded, and old Eugene immediately walked into the palace. "There are guests, who will they be?" Soon old Eugene walked out of the palace and bowed to Tang Zheng. "Your Highness, Lord Azrael will let you in." Tang Zheng nodded and followed old Eugene to the palace. Tianlong people are good, the only thing that makes Tang Zheng unhappy is that there are too many broken etiquette, and there are a lot of rules to go in and out, just like the imperial family in the feudal era of the previous life. As soon as Tang Zheng approached the palace, he immediately saw two people sitting at the round table and talking. One of them was his father. After they heard Tang Zheng walk in, they both stopped talking. Tang Zheng also saw the old man sitting opposite his father at this time. The old man was wearing a long purple suit, with short black hair on his head. Beside him, there was a pitch-black staff and knife. The most striking thing is that the old man has two huge scars on his forehead. The scars have spread to his eyes. Perhaps because of the scars, the eyes of the old man have never been opened. After seeing the appearance of this old man, Tang Zheng's heart suddenly jumped. Big man. Although he is still an unknown person now, in a few years, he will definitely be a world-famous super powerhouse. "I've seen your father, who is this?" Tang Zheng bowed to Azarar, and at the same time deliberately looked at the old man. The old man smiled. As soon as Tang Zheng finished speaking, the old man replied immediately. After confirming his guess, Tang Zheng's eyes flashed. "Grandpa Yuxiao." Tang Zheng also saluted Yuxiao. Tang Zheng didn't know why Yuxiao came here, but this is a strong man with the strength of a general, and there is absolutely no harm in making a good relationship with him. At the same time, Tang Zheng also asked the system to evaluate Yuxiao's strength. Name, Smile. Physical skill level, domineering level, degree of fruit development, evaluation of combat effectiveness. Scared to pee. It's actually a 9.5 star combat power. Why don't you show your physique domineering and fruit cultivation? Tang Zheng asked in his heart. It is impossible to obtain information that is more powerful than the host of too many humans. It needs to be upgraded after this system can be achieved. Only the combat power can be evaluated. The system said lightly. Yu Xiao couldn't see Tang Zheng, but after hearing Tang Zheng's words, he nodded. Then he stood up with a smile, took the staff and knife beside him, and said, "Since you still have something to do, this old man will leave first." Azroth also stood up and said, "I hope your excellency will consider my proposal." He smiled and nodded, then left his seat and walked towards the door. But after coming to Tang Zheng's side, he suddenly stopped, and after a long silence, he said, "Yes, yes." Tang Zheng didn't know what he meant by good. "What's your business with me?" After leaving with a smile, Azalal asked Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng stared at the door where he left with a smile, and asked, "Father, is this old man coming to our place? What's the matter?" Azalal's eyes flashed, and he looked at Tang Zheng with great meaning and said, "You are still young, so many things are not something you can participate in. Ask for collection. Ask for flowers. Your support is my motivation." Chapter 10's Hizamoruofu. Chapter 10's Hizamoruofu. Before Tang Zheng could speak, Azroth showed a strange look in his eyes. "It's you, what's the use of forcibly spending 200 million baileys to buy a waste slave back?" Tang Zheng stared at his father dumbfounded. The script shouldn't be like this. In the original book, Charles Ross was free to spend 500 million to buy mermaids, and his father didn't let a fart. So coming to him, what's the difference? But it's all right. I, Bailey of the Holy Family of Ettrick, can't take it if you want. This is your 200 million Bailey, take it back. Azalal put 2 large coins on the table lost. After Tang Zheng saw these 200 million Baileys, it was like a mouse meeting a cat. Are you kidding? After finally spending it, is it not killing you to get it back? Tang Zheng immediately said, "Since Bailey is in my father's hands, my father will take it. I came to see my father because I wanted to discuss something with you." Tang Zheng immediately changed the subject when he saw that Azroth still wanted to entangle him with 200 million Baileys. "What's the matter?" Azroth asked. "I want you to make an announcement with the Holy Family of Ettrick. I, El Hwashung, want to buy a large amount of devil fruits." Tang Zheng said in an astonishing tone. "You Saint El Hwa?" Azroth also heard the difference in Tang Zheng's words. "Yes, the announcement is made in the name of the family, but the fruit is what I want personally." Tang Zheng said. "What do you want to do with devil fruits?" Azroth asked. "Naturally, in order to become stronger, I can take over from Father's class in the future and protect our Holy Family of Ettrick." Tang Zheng said. He naturally couldn't say that his main purpose was to ruin the family. Azroth stared at Tang Zheng for a moment, his eyes were deep and he didn't know what he was thinking, which made Tang Zheng nervous for a while. "Eugene!" Azroth called suddenly. Soon old Eugene ran in. Azalal threw a key to him and said, "Go to my vault, get some devil fruits, and let His Highness choose slowly." Tang Zheng. "Okay, Lord Azroth." After old Eugene took the key, he left in a hurry. After a while, old Eugene appeared in Tang Zheng's sight again, and there was another servant in black behind him. In the hands of old Eugene and another black-clothed servant, they were both holding a dustpan-like object on which was placed several various fruit-shaped objects. These are usually eaten by slaves for fun. "Look, if you like which one, just take it away. If you don't like it, ask Eugene to get another batch." Azalal said. Tang Zheng looked at the 2 piles of devil fruits in front of him, at least 10. How deep is the heritage of the Ettrick family? And listen to Azroth, is this only part of it? Tang Zheng took a deep breath and said, Father, please make an announcement in the name of the Holy Family of Ettrick. Azellal ignored Tang Zheng's words and continued, Look, this one is called the Mumu fruit, which is a type of natural fruit. If you want it, you can choose this one. Tang Zheng looked at the Mumu fruit in front of him. To be honest, this fruit was also very powerful to his Yuhuo, but he still held back the Yuang in his heart. The fruit that Tang Zheng wants to eat must be super powerful. Even the system said that after it was upgraded, Tang Zheng could hold the second and third fruits. But Tang Zheng knew that the upgrade of this middle school system was definitely a big hole. Tang Zheng absolutely did not want to eat the fruit by mistake because of a momentary impulse, so that his strength was limited. Father, I asked you to issue an announcement, not because you want to eat it yourself, but because it is of great use. Tang Zheng said. I don't like this one. Then look at this one. This is a virus fruit, a kind of superhuman type, and it is extremely powerful. As long as you develop it carefully. Azroth continued. Seeing that Tang Zheng didn't speak, but looked at him quietly, Azellal returned to his seat and sat down, and said lightly, Tell me, what's the reason? Tang Zheng said unhappily, We, the Holy Family of Ettrick, is it so difficult to send an announcement? Isn't it just spending some money to buy fruits? Azellal looked at Tang Zheng with deep meaning, and said, Nevertheless, I, the Holy Family of Ettrick, will not do anything that is not beneficial to the family. Tang Zheng turned his eyes and said, I also know that the era of Whitebeard is about to pass, and a new era is coming soon. Oh! Azroth obviously didn't believe it and smiled, without the Whitebeard, it's gone, so what does it have to do with our Holy Family of Ettrick? Tang Zheng said angrily, because our Holy Family of Ettrick has no shortage of Bailey at all, I like it, I am self-willed, can't I? Azroth suddenly stunned, and the whole person seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, you said it earlier. Come and talk to me in a serious manner, I thought you burned out your brain, and it's all bullshit? Okay? Now, I'll let you know in a while, you go back and wait for the good news. Tang Zheng. Feelings are the wrong way to use it. Feelings are the wrong way for him. Sure enough, the acquaintance Moruofu, when a child who has been playful since childhood, suddenly came to you to tell you the business, and anyone else would think it was abnormal. Next time you have something, just tell Eugene directly. You don't have to run over seriously, it will scare me. Well, that's right. Well, you're not too young, don't keep thinking about fooling around. Let's it the Holy Family of Rui Xi is different from other dragon families. Azroth waved his hand. Understood, Father. Tang Zheng bowed gently to Ezreal, then turned around and left the palace. Azellal looked at Tang Zheng's back with deep eyes, the era of Whitebeard, this stinky boy. Chapter 11 World Shaking. In the early morning, the light blue sky was clean without a trace of impurities, and the faint color continued to spread across the entire sky. Tang Zheng did not wake up naturally as usual. He didn't seem to be in such a good mood today, because when he left at his father's place yesterday, he went too carelessly. So much so that he didn't take any of the devil fruits with him. So Tang Zheng regretted it all night and wanted to rush to his father's palace again, so with this thought in mind, he lost sleep. For those devil fruits, he cannot eat them, but some people can eat them. The first line of the system's ultimate main line is to establish the most powerful force. But this condition is not enough for him to be strong, Tang Zheng needs at least a bunch of powerful subordinates. So at dawn, Tang Zheng got up from the Chuang and hurried to his father's palace. His Royal Highness, Lord Azrael is no longer in the palace. After you left last night, he went out. Old Eugene said helplessly, looking at Tang Zheng. Where did he go? Tang Zheng asked. He had a feeling that this cheap father was hiding from him on purpose, right? Old Eugene shook his head and said, Lord Asriel's actions have always been rather mysterious. It's not something we can guess. If you have something important, you can go to look for Lord Caroline Palace. Tang Zheng nodded. Caroline was his mother, maybe she would know where his father went. Take me to see my mother. Tang Zheng said. Okay, Your Highness. Old Eugene hurriedly led the way, and then took out what looked like a newspaper from his body. He respectfully handed it to Tang Zheng and said, Your Highness, this is a notice issued by Lord Asriel. If the old slave guessed correctly, the morning newspaper should have spread all over the world by now. Tang Zheng took it over and took a look. The most striking headline was, The Holy Family of Ettrick released a bounty to buy devil fruits at a high price. Anyone who owns devil fruits can come to Holy Land marry Joa. As long as the fruit ability is stronger, the price is higher. Well, this is what I want. Director Eugene, please pay attention. Whenever anyone comes to sell devil fruits, they must notify me as soon as possible. Tang Zheng said. Yes, Your Highness Elva. Old Eugene bowed. Tang Zheng casually threw the morning paper in his hand aside, but he didn't know that because of this morning paper, the whole world became a sensation. At this time, the seagulls flying out from the world government to release various information have already passed the news to all parts of the world. A column of big characters on the headlines of the morning newspaper has caused waves of turmoil around the world. At this time, the New World was a calm sea, and a fleet was slowly driving on the sea. The fleet was slightly damaged, and even the flag was destroyed in half. It seemed that it had just experienced a battle not long ago. On one of the extra-large warships, sat a very sturdy, white-bearded old man with a crescent-shaped upward curve on his face. The old man had a lot of root canals inserted into his body, and even breathing needed oxygen supply. At this time, he was holding today's morning paper in his hand, and his eyes just stayed on the headlines of today's morning paper. The Holy Family of Ettrick? Is this a celestial being? Even though his body needed a bottle to maintain his body, the old man's voice was very loud, and he drank a sip of wine at the same time. Yes, Dad, they just like to mess around. The man standing beside the old man with a golden punk head and a tattoo of a special pirate group replied. Dragon people, it's really troublesome. Where's Sachi, haven't you come back yet? The old man took another sip of strong wine. The man said, It should be soon, we are collecting the spoils. It is said that he has obtained a mysterious fruit. N. The old man looked into the distance, not knowing what he was thinking. At the same time, another place in the New World. This place is full of violence, and the people who seem to be able to exist here are not normal human beings. On a giant ship, a beast-like body sat on the deck. Compared with his huge body, the humans around him were almost the size of cats and dogs. Captain, the Tianlong people have bought the devil fruit. A woman said around this huge body. After the beast-like body heard her words, its head slowly turned around, with two horns-like things growing on its head, pointed towards the sky. Failed to commit suicide again, what can you do next? The beast-like man said. The sound roared like a roar of a beast. Captain! The woman who just spoke said anxiously. How is Joker's plan going? The behemoth-like man asked, ignoring the woman's words. It's said to be soon. The woman replied cautiously. Then let him quickly start a plan for Lao Tzu, such a boring world. Marine Fando of the Navy headquarters, in the conference room at the top. There were nearly 10 people sitting in the conference room. No matter which of these people were, they were all well-known powerhouses in the New World, and some were even legendary figures. What a nonsense, what do you think, Carp? The warring States Marshal dropped the morning newspaper in his hand and asked Carp, who was sitting not far from him. A group of guys that make people a headache, just make trouble as you like. Carp looked lazy. It's said to be a high-priced reward, but with their Tianlong people's style, what's the difference between them and compulsory collection? It's a group of lawless people. General Akainu also said. Dragon people are also interested in devil fruits. Yeah, that's weird, said Kizaru, who was wearing a pair of sunglasses. Not only the New World and the naval headquarters, but the acquisition of the fruit of the Holy Family of Ettrick, like a tsunami, swept the entire world in an instant. Up to the world government Tianlong nobles, down to the common people in the corner. No one is unaware of this big event. As a Tianlong person, Tang Zheng is destined to be the focus of the world's attention. Chapter 12 New Task. Only after Tang Zheng asked to meet his mother did he learn that his father had gone to the Zumiada Islands. And the mother did not have the key to the father's treasury. Although his mother repeatedly stated that his father was not avoiding him, Tang Zheng still held a trace of distrust. Alas, what about trust between people? For a few devil fruits, I hid my son in that kind of place. After leaving from his mother, Tang Zheng rode a silver tiger with a large group of slaves, and went out to continue his great mission, to lose the family. As soon as he came to the street, Tang Zheng realized that something was wrong. Except for a few scattered shops on the street, the doors of the rest were all closed. Could it be that I came out too early, and these people haven't opened the door to do business? Tang Zheng turned to look at his entourage and said, "Old Bud, what time is it now?" Old Bud in black stepped forward and bowed to him, "My Lord Elva, it is 10:40 in the morning. Go and tell these shops to open, I want to buy something, I want to lose the family." Tang Zheng said with a frown. "This? Your Royal Highness, I'm afraid. I'm afraid." Old Bud said with a bit of embarrassment. "What? Could it be that you can't even handle this trivial matter?" Tang Zheng said, extremely dissatisfied. "His Royal Highness, please calm your anger." This old slave never dared to question the order of Herba's Holy Highness. Old Bud hurriedly knelt in front of Tang Zheng and said, "Then do it immediately." Tang Zheng ordered in an unquestionable tone. "Your Majesty Elva, listen to the old servant. If the old servant guessed correctly, the people in these shops disappeared last night, and they will not appear in the Holy Land Marijoa for a short time." Bud quickly explained. "It's so shameless." Tang Zheng let out a sullen breath, although in his heart, he had already confirmed all these speculations. The people in the Holy Land Marijoa really didn't dare to take the coins of the Tianlong people easily, but he didn't expect the situation on the street now. "I don't believe it, there isn't a single door open." After speaking, Tang Zheng rode his silver tiger and walked forward. In order to make himself stronger, losing a family is Tang Zheng's most important mission at present. Seeing that Tang Zheng didn't pursue so much anymore, Old Bud's high-hanging heart was calmed down. Just now, he was really afraid that Tang Zheng would be unhappy and executed himself. Since most of the shops were closed, there were not many shops that were open as usual at this time, and the whole street seemed empty. And those shops that still dare to do business as usual, these people are all family relatives of government officials around the world. Tang Zheng entered these shops and bought a lot, and the accompanying guards and servants all gained a lot of benefits. Everyone is grateful to Tang Zheng from the bottom of their hearts, and they can't wait to follow such a master for the rest of their lives. Following such a master, squandering everywhere, taking all kinds of benefits for nothing, who doesn't like it? These stores all have a certain background, and Tang Zheng will not forcefully buy or sell for his own reasons, and forge too many grievances for the Ettrick Holy Family. At least not yet. And these people did not dare to open the price arbitrarily after seeing Tang Zheng coming to buy. They are the family members of government officials, and they naturally have their own way of staying in the Holy Land Marijoa. As long as you don't commit death and don't offend the gods, in the Holy Land Marijoa, there is generally no danger to life. After walking around the castle for a long time, Tang Zheng felt a little bored. This feeling is that life has no passion and is too dull. How can this be tolerated? The more Tang Zheng thought about it, the more angry he felt in his heart. These people really didn't know how to praise them. Suddenly, Tang Zheng came up with a coup. Since you are not benevolent, don't blame me for being unrighteous. I want you to return to the Holy Land Mary Joa, and there will be no business to do. Tang Zheng sneered in his heart. Old Bud. The old slave is here, what is your highness order? Old Bud replied. Go and buy me all these shops. Tang Zheng said, pointing to some shops on the street with their doors tightly closed. Okay. Okay. Old Bud secretly wiped a cold sweat, but answered without hesitation. His Majesty Elva is really the only one he doesn't want to do, but there is nothing he dares to do. Today, most of the shops in Holy Land Mary Joa are closed, and it would take a lot of Bailey to buy all of them. Old Bud is thinking in his heart, how to think of his explanation when Lord Azrael comes back. After watching Old Bud run to negotiate with the world government's administrator, Tang Zheng's sullenness dissipated a little. Don't blame me for being the 15th. Tang Zheng was thinking in his heart that if he bought this large shop, it would cost more than 1 billion Bailey, right? So in this way, the system upgrade, isn't it hopeful? Just when Tang Zheng revealed this idea, a sweet voice suddenly appeared in his mind. You have a new task, please pay attention to check it. Tang Zheng. People in the city really know how to play, and this ghost system can play any tricks. Tang Zheng hurriedly entered the system space, and immediately opened the task menu. The current mission is, spend 100 million Baileys within 3 days. Mission reward, yes. Failure penalty, randomly deprive the host of one of the abilities. Tang Zheng wiped his eyes, 100 million in 3 days? Are you sure? Bringing warmth? Ask for collection. Only a few collections are added a day, and the baby is suffering. Chapter 13 The Perfect Reward. After Tang Zheng heard the system say the mission, he thought he heard it wrong. To squander 100 million Bailey in 3 days, for the current Tang Zheng, it is simply not too easy. It is simply that the icing on the cake is the icing on the cake, the Guanyin Bodhisattva who saves the dying and helps others. Oh no, it is a system. As a second-generation ancestor, Tang Zheng, please forgive me, this is the most beautiful word he can imagine. Cough cough. In the punishment, what does the deprivation of an ability refer to? Tang Zheng asked the system. Visual ability, hearing ability, language ability, and even reproductive ability, etc. There are dozens of abilities in the human body, and one of them will be deprived. The system said lightly. So disrespectful? Then what will be the reward after completing the task at the end? Tang Zheng asked at the same time. Although the punishment for failure sounded terrifying, he didn't take it to heart at all, because soon he would have a large amount of Bailey to lose. The system replied, the reward will be determined by the difficulty of the task and the evaluation after completion. For example, your current difficulty is F. After the evaluation, it will be divided into 6 evaluations, from low to high, very poor, normal, good, excellent, excellent, perfect. And if you want to get a high rating, you need to decide on the finished effect within a certain period of time, but it's almost impossible to get a perfect rating. This system has existed for so long, and I haven't encountered a host that can achieve perfection. The system said. Tang Zheng secretly sneered in his heart, and then said, is there a reward for the tasks that appear in the future? The system said, yes, especially the 3 ultimate missions, the rewards will definitely surprise you. Scare me? I'm really scared. Tang Zheng pouted. Afterwards, the mind withdrew from the system space, and as soon as he came out, he saw that old Bard was negotiating with the officials of the land department of the world government. Originally, even to buy and sell land in Mary Joa, there was no need to dispatch so many senior officials, but since the buyer was Tang Zheng, this frightened these officials. Mr. Bud, can I ask, what is the reason for His Highness Elva to buy this shop? Beside the old Bud, an official of the land department asked cautiously. Old Bud looked at him lightly, and made the official secretly blame himself for being eloquent. Can the matter of the Tianlong people be his own? In fact, old Bud was also sweating profusely. How could he say it? The main reason why His Highness purchased this shop was because they were not open for business. His Royal Highness's mind is not something we can guess, if you want to live longer. Old Bud's eyes carried a hint of warning. Yes, Mr. Bud, I didn't say that sentence just now. The official said quickly. Then according to the billion Bailey we just said. Old Bud continued. The rest of the land department officials nodded and said, yes, Mr. Bud. Old Bud was about to speak when he saw Tang Zheng approaching. I have seen His Majesty Elva. The officials of the land department immediately knelt down and bowed. Tang Zheng nodded and said, get up and talk, you all know the matter, how much is the price? The officials of the land department all stood up, and old Bud said, go back to your highness, it's a billion Baileys. Tang Zheng nodded and immediately asked old Bud to deliver the amount of 1 billion Baileys. As soon as the amount was delivered, I heard the system prompt, congratulations to the host for getting 100,000 points, congratulations to the host for over-fulfilling the task. The difficulty of the current task is F, and the evaluation of task completion is being evaluated. The evaluation is complete, the evaluation is perfect. A series of system prompts made Tang Zheng overwhelmed. He also wants to know what kind of rewards will be given to the perfect level. Where's the reward? Tang Zheng asked directly after coming to the system space. This time, the system of the second middle school did not speak, but in front of Tang Zheng, 3 colorful eggs appeared, each egg was the size of a wooden barrel. What kind of reward is this? Smashing Easter eggs? Tang Zheng asked. The system said faintly, according to the regulations of the system, if it is an excellent level evaluation, you can hit the golden egg once. If it's an excellent level evaluation, you can also hit a silver egg once. If it is a good level evaluation, you can also hit the bronze egg once. After hearing this, Tang Zheng curled his lips and said, according to you, if it is a very bad evaluation, then you can only smash wooden eggs. Smash the bastard, said the system. Tang Zheng suddenly asked in surprise, is there still a bastard? Of course I'm smashing the host, you bastard. If the evaluation of the completion of the task is extremely poor, what the hell are you doing? Just smash, you bastard. The system said coldly. But I'm at the perfect level now. According to the regulations, I can smash this Easter egg once? Tang Zheng said. 3 times, the system said coldly. 3 times. Gold, silver and bronze eggs are the best reward for golden eggs, and copper eggs are the last. But after a perfect evaluation, you can smash the highest level Easter eggs, and you can smash them 3 times. Good luck, said the system. After listening to the system's words, Tang Zheng felt a burst of joy in his heart. Yes, I like this reward. The highest level Easter eggs are not much worse than the rewards. Thinking of this, Tang Zheng immediately smashed one of the Easter eggs. As the Easter egg was broken, Tang Zheng immediately felt a strange change in his body, and the sound of the system also entered Tang Zheng's ears. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the domineering look and being promoted to S rank, said the system. At the same time, a shocking aura erupted from Tang Zheng's body. Chapter 14 Little Anna. After Tang Zheng's terrifying aura emanated, the expression of old Bud who was standing beside Tang Zheng suddenly changed. The rest of the land department officials, including the guards who followed Tang Zheng, were all stunned to the ground by this aura. Superior. At this moment, with Tang Zheng as the center, the ground under Tang Zheng's feet cracked away at an extremely fast speed. The entire cracked shape, like a large cobweb, was scattered on the land of the Holy Land Mary Joa, which was extremely amazing. Even the silver tiger that Tang Zheng sat down couldn't bear this monstrous arrogance, and went into a coma, forcibly pulling Tang Zheng's mind back in the system space. Tang Zheng hurriedly jumped off Yinhu's body. After seeing the problem in front of him, even himself was taken aback. Is this the power of the S-class domineering? Your Highness, you. Old Bud said hesitantly. Tang Zheng looked at him in amazement and said, Old Bud, why are you all right? With a hint of shock, a hint of confidence, and a hint of relief in Old Bard's eyes, he said, I didn't expect that this old slave has lost sight of it for so many years, but His Highness is actually the one chosen by the king's aptitude, and His Highness will practice domineeringly. To this extent. If Lord Azrael knows, he will be very happy. It's a pity that the Lord has already gone to the Zumiada Islands. Old Bard said with emotion. Tang Zheng also looked at Old Bud in shock. He was able to calm down under the arrogance of an S-rank overlord. This Old Bud's strength would definitely not be weak. Just now, because of the domineering aura generated by the system, Tang Zheng didn't get used to it for a while, and he couldn't control this domineering aura. However, apart from Old Bud, what Tang Zheng didn't expect was that the background of the Holy Family of Ettrick was hidden so deeply that any butler was extremely powerful. Presumably other Tianlong people are similar. This time Tang Zheng's view of the Tianlong people has changed a lot. During the conversation between the two, Tang Zheng's shocking mood had already alarmed many people. A large number of escorts soon appeared in front of Tang Zheng and Old Bud. In the Holy Land Mary Joa, as long as there was any trouble, the escorts would always arrive at the fastest speed. Do your best to protect the safety of Tianlong people. His Royal Highness, are you all right? What happened? A captain of the guard bowed to Tang Zheng and asked. Tang Zheng glanced at him and said lightly, It's okay, there are slaves who are not obedient, I just taught me a lesson. The captain of the guard was shocked. The shock just now was made by the Tianlong people in front of him. However, about the Tianlong people, he has no right to intervene, so he can only bow and retire. Tang Zheng asked them to take away all the followers who were unconscious on the ground. Go back first. Tang Zheng said to Old Bud. There are still 2 Easter eggs to smash. Tang Zheng doesn't want to continue to make any noise on this street. It's all back to the palace. Not long after Tang Zheng and the others left, a figure in a long purple suit walked out from the street next to him with a staff and knife in hand, and came to the place where Tang Zheng had stayed before. At this time, his closed eyes slowly opened, revealing a grayish-white. What kind of aptitude is this? It seems that he is the person this old man is looking for. The figure in the long purple dress said, facing the direction where Tang Zheng was leaving. After returning to the palace, Tang Zheng left Old Bard and walked to the bedroom. As soon as he entered the door of the bedroom, he collided with an exquisite body. Seeing that the body being hit was about to fall, Tang Zheng hurriedly hugged her in his arms. Yet, Your Highness Elwa, I'm sorry. A weak voice came from Tang Zheng's arms. Tang Zheng looked down, and the one he was holding in his arms was the little girl dressed as a maid. Tang Zheng saw her fearful appearance, and a sense of mischief rose in his heart. Immediately, he said with a sullen face, You dare to bump into me, I must punish you. Tang Zheng didn't know why, as soon as he saw her weak and pleasant appearance, he wanted to bully her. It's just that this bullying doesn't come with any malice. After hearing Tang Zheng's words, little Liliana trembled, her face turned pale with fright. His Royal Highness. I didn't mean to. Anna cried. Tang Zheng suddenly let go of the hands that hugged her, making Anna even more insecure and even more helpless. Tang Zheng approached her slowly, and said slowly as he walked, How should I punish you? Little Loriana could only hold the corners of her clothes tightly with both hands and step back. Tang Zheng slowly forced her into the corner like this, looking at the little maid Anna, whose eyes were already full of tears, with a burst of laughter in his heart. But instead of letting her go, she put her hand on the wall, leaving Anna with nowhere to run. Anna looked at Tang Zheng's handsome face so close at hand, the original fear in her heart had slowly disappeared, followed by bursts of shyness. Looking at the pink face on the little maid Anna's face, Tang Zhang was stunned for a moment, and suddenly a very popular word before the crossing appeared in his mind. Wall thump? Forget it, just wall bang. Due to the proximity, Tang Zhang could already smell the fragrance from Anna's body. I'll punish you and let me. Tang Zhang didn't finish his words, because his head had already lowered and touched Anna's red/lip. Little Anna grabbed the corner of her clothes and became trembling/shaking, as if she was extremely nervous. After 10 minutes, Tang Zhang has tried everything from shallow to deep, to she, when. At this moment, the system suddenly popped up a prompt, congratulations to the host, Anna's current favorability level is 50. You've reached the end of part 1. Want to know what happens next? Part 2 and the rest of the story are available on Patreon. Go to Patreon and search for my page to continue listening. Join Patreon and continue the story from part 2. Thank you for listening and supporting the channel.